To be with the woman he loved, a man secretly slipped poison into his wife's water. He then thoughtfully handed it to her and watched as she drank every drop. Soon came the news of his wife's death during a business trip. Jack worked hard to put on a grief-stricken facade, but once evening fell and everyone had left, he immediately rushed to an apartment to secretly meet with a young woman. This was his motive for poisoning his wife. His wife was over 10 years older than him, and even his position as president of the pharmaceutical company had been given to him by his wealthy wife's family. However, his wife was extremely controlling. Whenever he showed the slightest disobedience, she would threaten to kick him out of the company. Though he despised his wife, he had no choice but to endure it. A few months ago, he met the innocent Annie, and they quickly began dating. Soon after, Annie became pregnant. To completely free himself from his wife, the two plotted this scheme together. All they needed was to pass the autopsy successfully, claim the massive inheritance. Just then, Jack received a call from the police. His wife's body had mysteriously vanished from the morgue. Upon hearing this news, Jack immediately got dressed and rushed to investigate, pocketing a few pills before leaving. At the morgue, the police told him they had received a report from the morgue security guard about a missing body. The guard had been on duty alone when the entire building lost power, followed by sounds coming from the morgue. When he went to investigate, he found an open body drawer with the corpse missing. As he searched around, a dark figure flashed behind him. He immediately gave chase and found a woman lying at the end of the corridor. This sight terrified him so much that he tried to flee, only to discover the door was locked. In his panic, he was knocked unconscious by the shadowy figure. Strangely, the surveillance room's lock had been tampered with, yet they found no trace of any outsider entering the building. They then discovered that the missing body was indeed Jack's wife. After hearing all this, Jack felt somewhat relieved. It meant his crime hadn't been discovered. When the police asked where he had been during that time, he immediately pulled out the pills from his pocket, claiming he had been at the pharmacy. However, his nervous demeanor didn't escape the officer's notice. In his panic, he called his lawyer and stated he wouldn't answer any more questions. The police had no choice but to wait outside. Before long, the entire building lost power again, and eerie events began to unfold. Behind them, a morgue drawer slowly began to open.